Alright, I'm going to show you guys how to start painting the background for a rose. Now if I'm going to paint a red rose, I'm going to use greens because the greens really bring out the red. We're going to work with 4 colors. Forest green, mellow green, and sun yellow. Black, of course. Alright. Newspaper. Alright, let that dry for a couple hours and then we'll come back and paint the rose. Okay. Here's some of the stuff that we're going to need to work on this painting. Okay, here's our colors. We have scarlet, brilliant red, primary red, titanium white, and black. Okay, linseed oil. Alright, we got 5 brushes, 1 inch liner brush or script brush, 2 angle brushes, and a flat brush or chisel brush. Okay. Alright, now what I've done is I've sketched it out. I've freehanded with pencil, alright, and I covered the back of it with chalk. Okay, you can use charcoal, but since it's such a dark background, I'm using chalk so it'll show up on that dark background. Okay, but if you don't know how to sketch or freehand, if you have a printer, all you have to do is print out the picture that you want to draw or the rose that you want to draw. You can do the same thing. Okay, you cover the back of it with either the chalk or the charcoal, and then you just outline it. Okay? Okay. What I've done is I've transferred my sketch to the canvas. Now we're gonna work on bringing this to life, adding some color to it. We're going to start with the darker colors first, which is our darkest is primary red. That's the darkest of the reds we have. So, and You know, some people they have one stroke brushes where you just do one stroke, but I like working with the smaller stuff. It gives it, the brush strokes give it detail that I think. You know, and if you can color in a coloring book, you can paint. And it's just, you know, layer upon layer of color, and that's all you're trying to do. So let me get this filled in with the darker, and then I'll move to the next set. Okay. Now I hope you can see that really good now. You see how I got the brilliant red on the outside of the petals. Now we're going to work on the inside of the petals, and so we're going to make it a little darker. So get your ivory black, get you a little bit of this. Now it doesn't take much with the black or white when you're working with it. Alright, so you don't need much, and just a little bit of linseed oil, just like a drop. I use a medicine drop, so that way I don't waste a whole lot. It doesn't take much. And you're just trying to thin the paint out a little bit. Alright? Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the insides of the petals. And it's always good to keep your sketch laying around or your drawing laying around for reference. Alright? So, take your little chisel brush. What I'm doing is I'm just mixing a little bit of the dark red with the black, just to make it a little darker. Alright? And we're going to start working on the insides of the petals. And you see, it doesn't take much. You don't have to load your brush up. It's more like dry brush painting. It's not a whole lot of paint on there. Alright, you see? Now it's starting to get real dark on the insides of the petals. Now I've found out in the studying I have done about painting techniques, everybody has a different style of painting or a different technique in the way they like to paint. This is just my variation of it, and once you get started painting, you'll find a comfortable way of doing it. So this is just a basic idea, because in art there's no proper way or improper way. It's just the way you want to do it, or the way you feel about it. It's your feelings being put out on the canvas. Alright, I'm gonna finish this up and we'll go from there. Now you can see the inside of the petals much better now. Alright, now we're going with the scarlet. Okay, and we're just gonna do the middle area of the petal now. Okay. Now, if you have to, you know, for each pedal, it might help you to wipe off your paintbrush, because you're going to pick up some of that black paint and you don't want to have it all bleed together. Now, it helps also to add a drop of linseed oil to your paint. You got me? You can always add another drop if you know, if it's not quite thin enough. And you see what I'm doing is I'm pulling out to in, pull out to in. Got it? Then we're gonna have one more step after that, and that is the highlights, where you come in. That's where you decide what direction your light's gonna come in from. All right. Let me finish this off, and that will be our next step, and we'll almost be finished. Okay, now we see that the flower is really starting to come to life now. Now we take our 1-inch brush, we're just trying to get some of them high peaks of paint blended in. And it just light touch, not light at all. See, you're not lifting much paint. You're not trying to smear it, you're just trying to knock off some of the high bumps. Get that to blend in a little bit. And just light, very feather touch. Okay. Alright, now for the highlights. This is where our liner brush comes in. Okay, titanium white. Now we're gonna make it's a pink, so you know, pink. So you get a little bit of your titanium white, more linseed oil, just to thin your paint out now. Your paint's really got to be thin now, so to glide off the liner brush. Okay, so what you do is you want to twirl your liner brush. You got me? Load that sucker up with paint and just twirl it. And we put the white with the brilliant red, the lightest red that you have. Okay. Now this is where we figure out. You see, just roll that liner brush. You got me? And it makes a nice little point on it. Now this is where we're trying to figure out where our light's coming from. Alright? So light's gonna come in from this way. So what I want to do, and if it's not sticking too well, just add a little bit more until get it real thin, because thin paint sticks to thin paint sticks to thick paint. Yep. And then we're also going to do this with the shading value again on the inside. We're going to, like with the black, we're going to come in and we're going to just outline the inside of the leaves, make them the inside of the petals to make them really dark. Take your 1-inch brush, light touch, just feather it out a little bit. Because this is where you can come in and just keep working it until you get the desired effect and the outlines of the leaves that you want. Petals, not leaves, petals. Unlike crayons, you can go out the line sometimes because you just gotta hit it with a paper towel. That's why I like working with the spray paint background. It makes it easier to do that. Let me finish this up and then we'll do the last step and then it should be okay. Now we're working with something here. Alright, now we got our highlights in on the petals. Now we're gonna do the last little bit, and you want your black paint to be really thin, because you're just gonna go on the very insides of the petals. And that's all you're after. Same thing, liner brush. You know, just roll it in the paint. That's it. And it don't take much. You don't want to try to do too much, because black goes a long way for oil paint. And you know, just little outline on the insides of the petal. Now you can do it this way. It gives it a veiny look after you do your line. Just little short strokes. Little short strokes. And it gives it a vein look. More little details in that. It might not show up in the camera, but you can see it, you know, with your eye, you know. This way you don't have to blend it in with the 1-inch brush. And you can go in with, you know, and just do a quick little line and do it with, you know, and then come back with the 1-inch brush to blend it in. But it's just, I don't think it's as elegant or as pretty. See? And it's all personal preference really on how you want to do it, your technique, you know, and it just takes time to practice. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know you're gonna mess up on your first painting, your second painting, you know, and it's okay because you can just go back and paint over again. So like that, I almost had a half a little action. Because trust me, I've messed up on a lot of paintings and have had to start all over again. Like I said, the more you paint, the better you'll get at it. It's like anything you do. The more you do of it, the better you get at it. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's what happens when you have just a little bit too much black. See? Took care of that. That's still too much. There we go. There. That's it. That is a rose. Now, for a stem, this is easy. We freehand this. Alright. Binder brush. Okay, we have sap green. Just a little bit. Don't take much because we're just doing the stem. Alright. Little bit of light green. Alright. And just a touch of blue. Just a touch. Primary yellow. Just a touch. Alright. Linseed oil, just a drop. And I think our stem's gonna come from right there. In. Alright, I said the light was coming in this way. just a little black, just to outline just a few things. Now, sign this thing. That's it. God bless and good night.